Hello and welcome to our courageous conversations, and I'm really excited about today's conversations. If you don't know me, I'm Andrea Morrison. I'm a transformational coach, and in celebration of my new program, the Courageous Females program, which starts on the 8th of June, I thought I would introduce you to some of the courageous females that I know. So those amazing women who I've already shared this understanding with, and they're using it in their lives and their professional lives as well, particularly. And they will be sharing with you the impact that this has had on them. So today I'm joined by the lovely Laura Taylor of Positive Training. I love that name. It's just amazing. She's an expert dog trainer. She's absolutely amazing with dogs. And she has the most amazing dog as well, called Duffy, who is beyond cute, who features a lot in her social media. So if you follow her, you'll get to follow the stories of Duffy too. And I've known Laura, I was trying to remember, and probably nearly a year now coming up to. And I've just witnessed her business just blossom and grow and be impacted by COVID and then bounce back. And it's just incredible. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to hand over to Laura and just allow her to tell her story and share it with you. So welcome, Laura, and thank you for joining us. I'm going to hand over to you.
I think for me, the biggest impact, like when I first came and met you, I think it was just been just close to a year of running my business, but it felt very stuck and it felt very, if that's a proper word. And I wanted to rebrand and just rejuvenate it and help the people that actually I wanted to help when I first set out the business. And it just felt a bit dead, if that's the right word. And then it was realizing that actually it took till the coronavirus hit of actually understanding where everything was coming from, of why I started the business in the first place. And it was okay to change the narration of your story. Because when I first started my business, it came from a very negative place. And that was what I followed through with. It was just like, it always felt quite negative. But obviously after having chats with you, it was just actually, you can change the narration because it's just the thought process that's going on in your head, that's where the business is coming from. And it took a long time for that to sink in. And I'm very good at convincing myself out of things as well. So it's just like, but what will everyone think? And what happens if it doesn't go right? What happens if it fails? And it's just like, actually, what does that matter anyway? Why not just give it a go and see where it goes? So it's kind of like, yeah. And it's been really interesting learning that everything I've learned doing dog training is actually can impact what you're doing in real life too. So it was kind of like actually pair the two together.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? Really, the power of realizing that the story that we tell ourselves isn't as real as we think it is. And yet we make all of our decisions.
Obviously it is really real because that's how it started, and it was real life, and it's not real life. It's just that actually you don't need to carry it with you, and it felt like a bit of a burden. And it's just like, actually, once you lift that burden off your shoulders, actually where you could actually potentially take your business to as well. It's not just a little bubble. It was like popping that bubble.
Yeah, wow. And that's, I think that is the power, isn't it, of seeing that illusion. We're not saying that the past hasn't happened or you haven't had those experiences, but they are in the past. They're not kind of in your now. They're not operating now. But we can still tell ourselves about them, can't we? And we can still kind of keep that story alive and going as though it's something that we need to pay attention to and we need to take into account. And I just love that, the light bulb moment when you kind of think, oh, what? You mean I don't need to pay attention to it anymore? I can just like create whatever I want to create now, and that's okay. It's
it's not being like, obviously there are still conversations going, and like,
and like, yeah, me too. I mean, I think that's really human.
Like, are you completely insane? Yeah, probably. But it's just also like, just living in the moment of now. It's just like I was listening to Diane's as well, and I very much like live a year ahead of myself, and it's just like bring everything back, because if you don't get there, I was always like, what's next, and it's not enjoying what you've created. It's just like, well, it's a shame, because you always wanted to create your own business, and it's just like you're not enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just incredible, isn't it? That power of bringing everything back to now, and not futurizing, because of course that comes with a lot of worry as well, doesn't it? But what if this happens? And what if that happens?
Disappointment if it doesn't happen, and it's just like, well, actually, but you haven't seen what has happened, and there's so much good stuff that has happened that you always dwell on the bad stuff rather than the good stuff. And it's trying to sort of reprioritize almost, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know that your business was impacted by COVID and lockdown and everything. How did this understanding enable you to navigate that in a more kind of balanced way, if that's the right word to use?
I think it wasn't an all-out panic that I was expecting, because like when I very first came to you, it was all about not having enough time, not having any money, and I actually really wanted a break. And then when it presented itself, it was like, actually, I don't want all this time off now. But it was very much like, actually, the panic that I was expecting to have, I didn't have. And I was just like, well, what can we do instead? Rather than, oh my God, it's disaster. Obviously, there were those thoughts processes. But it wasn't as loud as what I was expecting it to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, actually, how do we keep this business going and trying to not give up on it?
Yeah, because I think it's important to kind of share maybe with those listening that your business was very much face to face. With dogs in front of you and their owners in front of you.
In the home, and it's very practical, very hands-on, and obviously like lots of things have changed coming out of lockdown as well, and we are very much still following government guidelines. But it was just like all of a sudden you've gone from running 1,000 miles an hour, which is what it felt like 7 days a week, working 8 hours a day, to nothing overnight. Bang, you can't do anything, and it's just like, actually, whoa. And it was that impact of hitting the brick wall, and it's just like, oh, we're not doing anything now. And it was then a monotony of 7 weeks of what day are we on?
Yeah.
But then it was just like, well, actually, it was giving ourselves little projects and stuff that we could focus in on. Like we set up the free group for people to join in on, because obviously I appreciate people can afford to come and do stuff. So it's just like, well, how can we help them in a different way? So it's kind of, rather than getting caught up in we're not doing anything, what can we do instead of?
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? Just that kind of like resourcefulness and that creativity of creating something completely new, really, particularly like in the dog world, where everything is kind of very face to face, and having that kind of resourcefulness. I mean, did you feel that the understanding helped you with that?
I don't think it kept me a little bit more grounded, rather than like being swept up into the vortex of social media, which was very much like panic stations everywhere. And it was like that thought process of just shut everything that you don't want to listen to. So it was just like, actually close your bubble a little bit. I've opened it back up a little bit now, and just monitor what you're listening to. And because obviously when you're reading all this negative stuff, it's just like you can very quickly go, oh, it is terrible and it is awful. Why should we be enjoying dog training? But it's just like, actually, when you listen to the other side of things, so I was listening to some of my clients that were working with me, it's just like, this is the only thing that we've got to look forward to, because everything's cancelled, we're not looking forward to our holidays, haven't got anything to do with our kids. And it's just like, actually, people were looking forward to doing dog training, and it's just like, well, actually, let's help that bit and bring that to the forefront of things.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? Just like recognizing that you can get really caught up in other people's stories, and the way that they're seeing the world at the time, and you could make lots of decisions based on that.
Yeah,
but
and it's like, and I was just trying not to. And then it is. I think you have to like monitor what you're looking at, and even for your own mental well-being as well. It's just like, actually, it's too much craziness going on, and there's too much doom and gloom around in the world, and everyone's sort of spouting it. And I think once you start engaging with that, social media is very good at, well, that's what you're engaging with, we'll give you more of it, because it's what you're responding to. But actually, when you start shutting it out, you see all this amazing other stuff, and it's just like, oh my god, that I haven't seen that for like donkey's years.
Oh wow! And isn't that incredible? Because I mean, that is really how we work, isn't it? You know, as soon as we start to not pay attention to all the negative stuff that goes on, even in our own minds, it does enable our minds to be more open to kind of fresh ideas and fresh ways of looking at things, which is clearly kind of what happened with your business, and how you managed to kind of create a business that really, some might say, was impossible to keep on running during lockdown.
And it was very much you thought that going in. It's just like, it's the industry's not going to be here as you get out of lockdown, and it's just like, but if you think about it, the dog training industry has been around since forever, in some form or shape or other. And I was just like, how would it not be? People, have you seen how many people have bought puppies during lockdown? But haven't had anything like socialization or anything like that. But it's like, see how expensive they are as well. But yeah, it's just like, actually people are still going out and getting dogs and bringing them into their families, and it's just like, well, the industry, how can it die? Because people are still getting them. So it's very much like, actually stop listening to all that kind of undertone to it, and then try and keep what you want to keep alive as well. When I first started my business, it felt very temporary, and I think during lockdown, because you've had to fight for it, it's like, actually this is here to stay a little bit longer.
Oh, that's incredible, isn't it? Like, it's like, actually, yeah, now it's here, and it's kind of, you have a completely different feel about it to how you did when we first met. All those months ago.
It does feel different, and it's just like, how many more possibilities could it open up to as well, which is exciting, rather than, oh, actually we need to be looking for real jobs.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And yeah, I think that's a really lovely place to stop. A real kind of message of hope and positivity. So thank you so much for joining me, Laura. It's been wonderful. I've loved hearing your journey, and I'm sure it's going to resonate with so many people. We've got some likes and hearts already, so that's great. So but thank you very much indeed, and and I'm looking forward to hearing your journey continue and blossom and grow over the next few months. All your next steps. So take care, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you.